things, but do we want to get started? At 6:30, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. First thing on the agenda is review and approval of the minutes from the prior meeting. There isn't much, but if anybody has any thoughts or corrections, if they'd be kind enough to share them. Otherwise, I'd look for a motion to approve the minutes, please.
I'll make the motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That would take care of our minutes. Next item up is a public hearing for a preliminary plat for Casson Crossing. Ian, if you've got a summary to share?
Yeah, so this is the parcel that we're talking about this evening. It's a city-owned parcel number 24.004.1300, located here in southwest Casson, generally next to the Windsor Court Manufactured Home Community and Maple Grove Cemetery.
Can't see nothing.
Oh, sorry, your TV isn't on.
Oh, now our TV is off.
Ian's tall enough that he can do that, otherwise you have to play with that power thing until they both sync.
Let's see. Maybe. Oh, now I got a picture now. We don't like that.
There you go.
All right, so, yes, this large 44-acre parcel in southwest Casson, next to the the manufactured home community and Maple Grove Cemetery. So, the proposal by the applicant, the city of Casson, is to subdivide this lot into 3 smaller lots, and then that would allow the city to sell them off to individual property owners for development. So I'll switch over here to the plat exhibit. You can see here that the 2 lots, there's a dividing line generally down the middle here, kind of divides it into west and east halves based on how the slope is graded out. And then this 3rd lot over here, over in the southeast corner. Most of it is a wetland, which is this other texture that you can see with the dividing line right here down the middle. And development isn't being proposed for this one at this time, just due to that wetland makes it rather hard to develop. Any access in the future would likely come from this other direction over here to the east. So, right now there's an active proposal for this one here in the middle. This is lot number 2. The proposal is to be an expansion of the manufactured home community. It would add in approximately 85 units on this area here, with 2 points of access to the existing manufactured home community. And then they're also planning to have a community center for their residents as well. But as this is just the preliminary plat this evening, they will have to come back for further zoning approvals as it's in the development holding district right now. But that will come after from the developer, since they're doing the design of this development. Let's see. The comprehensive plan was updated by the city not too long ago. So this is in the medium-density residential area now, and that is contingent on the rest of the approvals for this development going through. So I think that's everything now. If there's any questions, or we can open up the public hearing.
Do you have any idea where the access points would potentially be?
One is right here and then the other one is over here on this other side. So, going through the private roads of the existing manufactured home community that go out to this street up here, there'd be 2 additional points of access.
And are there structures currently there?
No, it's just, it's agricultural land now that we've been leasing out.
Is there any roads planning on coming out to 57?
Not at this time. We looked at that, it would just be really difficult to do because of this wetland, and this, there's another parcel in between here. This large one here,
Oh, okay.
it's technically not in city limits, was for sale for a while, but I do believe that, the developer here of this proposed property, they're working with the owner of this one in order to acquire it so that they can, extend a water main line to be able to service this development here, and then ultimately would also serve future developments elsewhere.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else have any questions for Ian?
Yeah, this subdivision would only go through if the entire project goes through, correct?
Right, so we can make it contingent on the final approval, so they'd have to come back and do a zoning approval.
And when you say the entire project, what is the entire project?
Well, since this is owned by the city, basically, we would have to get to the point where, because we're doing all the setup, we're making the lot that they're requesting, we're making the zoning, and then once that's done, I assume they're gonna wanna make sure they have the permit before they agree to purchase. So that would be, and then once we sell the property to them, that would basically be, we're done with it now, right? And then all the stuff that we've been doing contingent will activate.
Right, yep.
Okay.
Yeah, the developer would be submitting a PUD for this one just because, that's kind of typically what you see for these manufactured home communities. It just requires a bit of a higher level of design and planning that goes into it. But the PUD also serves the goal of rezoning as well.
Give me a moment if you would, sir, but yes, ultimately. Any other questions on this side of the table? No?
So if this doesn't go through with this developer, then this city just holds on to the land? Is that what the plan is, or is it going one way or another?
If the land transaction doesn't go through, I mean, the city can make the approval contingent on getting like the final approval for the development. So it's not necessarily a done deal if it gets approved, this plat gets approved.
But I think the city council has said that we are actively trying to not hold on to this property, right? So if it doesn't go through for this project, we're still gonna be trying to get somebody else to take it.
Right, yeah.
This wasn't, I'm gonna butcher the vocabulary, wasn't there some sort of bid or request for proposals that the city put forth?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
The city did put out a request for proposals, that was about 2 years ago.
yep.
And really, we only had interest from like one developer. And the other challenging piece about this property is just because of how it's laid out, it's very difficult to serve with utilities. So really, it makes the most sense just to have an expansion of this manufactured home community. But the city is looking at pursuing some grant funding to be able to extend utilities and the road infrastructure out over to this western portion, and then that should help to bring a development on this western side, ultimately.
And that development is gonna be presumably residential housing in some form or fashion?
Likely,
our comp plan is zoned for R1? Out on the west side, or the whole?
The whole thing, the city did approve a change to make the whole thing a medium-density residential.
Okay, what about the strip along 57? Well, I guess it's not 57, the
It's
245th Avenue or whatever it is.
this piece here. This actually isn't within city limits.
But it should still be on our comp plan as a,
Right, I think it might be more of a
Future expansion zone,
commercial
right?
piece. Let me look at, I can confirm one moment.
so I think that's another benefit to this, is if the person interested in this property can also get that other strip, they would presumably ask to be annexed in, put utilities there, and then that can be then developed for retail, commercial, industrial purposes.
It is a retail service commercial.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions or comments?
So, me not knowing that chunk of swampy land there, is there any other restrictions by means of waterways or what? Is there anything, I guess what I'm asking is there any issues with like DNR or stuff like that, or does that not apply?
Not for creating the plat here. I'll zoom in on the section, if I can get there. As part of the platting process, you do have to do a wetland delineation, and so that's what, this texture is. All this in here is the delineated wetland, and generally, once you delineate it, it's, not developable.
Okay. So really, the most that can happen in that spot is utilities can run through it, maybe a road if they put in the proper drainage culverts and stuff as
Right.
necessary, right? So, which is probably why we're cutting it out, because the developer doesn't want it.
Right, yeah, then the city can maintain it and everything.
With that said, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. If anybody has anything they'd like to share, if you'd be kind enough to come up to the podium and start with your name and address, please.
My name is Robert Bonzer, 642 240th Avenue. And I'm just wondering about traffic. I mean, as far as, how many units are gonna be here? 60 units?
85.
85 units, and the traffic's gotta go through the trailer court?
Right.
Is that okay? I mean, do they allow that, or don't they have a say, or what?
The folks that own the manufactured home community are the ones proposing this development down, the new development.
So the two lanes of traffic would be on both sides of the trailer court. I mean, the first lane of the trailer court, and then the west lane coming in then, basically? Kinda like
Yeah,
a
more or less.
horseshoe,
yeah.
or whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah, yep.
This is just the beginning of the makings, right? I mean...
Yeah, more or less.
Ian, do you have a picture of what the proposed layout is?
Yeah, I could...
It's beyond
I
the
could bring
scope of
that
what
up.
we're doing here, but...
Yeah, so tonight we're just talking about, subdividing the property. But, let's see here. Pull it up.
Evidently, the wetlands are kinda off limits then. I mean, you can't...
Right.
You know, as far as that goes, I mean...
One moment here. To see which file it is.
But this is just one developer or something that you're working with right now to try to get
Right.
a handle on
Yeah.
things, and not necessarily he's gonna go through with it, or there could be things that he backs out.
Well, I mean, it's not a done deal yet, just
Yeah.
because they have to come back and get further approvals from the city. But assuming they do go through, they'll be moving forward.
I know the first time I came here, they
Uh-huh.
were,
Yeah, so this is,
by my property, they're talking about a park or
Yeah.
something, gonna butt up against me, basically, and stuff, but I don't know. That's gotta be pretty much in the makings yet, I mean, but,
yeah. So this is the concept that they have. So you can see, one point of access right here, and then another one over here. $85 units. And then their community room up here.
so those over there are on the west side of the cemetery, right?
South.
Yeah, the south line of the cemetery is like right here, where
Well,
my
the
cursor
south line
is.
of the cemetery. is-
Yeah.
Okay, so that's butting up to the cemetery.
Yep,
And there's property between this and even my property then.
oh yeah, there's a,
And then there, but you did mention, if this don't work out, that property, the north of me, and east of me could be accessed to.
Eventually, that we could see a development come out there, but like I mentioned before, it's just really difficult to be able to extend the infrastructure out that way.
Well, I realize it's
Yeah.
early yet, but this is what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're
Thank you,
welcome.
sir. Anyone else? Please.
Craig Hansen, 64628, 240th Avenue. So my concern, I got a couple of concerns. One is, now Ian just mentioned the wetland could possibly have utilities run through it, or maybe even a road at some point. And we talked a few days ago, I talked to Ian a few days ago about this, but there's tile lines that come off our farm fields,
Okay,
and they go through that wetland.
okay.
So, you know, if there's ever any digging or anything like that, you don't want to destroy them tile lines, 'cause that'll back up water right up into our fields, and we won't be able to get into the fields or wreck the crops. So, that might be something somebody wants to make a note of, so that the developer or the city will take that into consideration if they ever do anything. 'Cause the tile lines come in, I think it's probably right in here somewhere. And then the other thing I was gonna ask about is, now, if they get houses up by the cemetery there, and just on the south edge, is there gonna be any type of, like, fencing or anything that would, you know, stop debris or stuff from going into the cemetery, or
Let's
something
see.
like that?
Would have to look at the actual PUD plans once they get submitted to the city.
Now, I can't say for sure, but the city did some fencing around the cemetery. Maybe they didn't do the south side, but
South
Just like
side
a
is
year.
still open,
the south side's still open?
yeah.
So,
They did the north and the east.
okay.
I can check with Tim, maybe there's, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty common that developments put
Right.
fences and
When
some sort of screens up.
the developer does the planned unit development, you can put,
Yeah,
conditions on there that they put a fence in certain places or
Right.
around the property.
And then, kind of the same thing, and I don't know how the rules are for that, but even along the field here, the property line, is there gonna be any type of barrier for, well, different types of trash going either way, coming out into the fields from the housing development, or in the fields, sometimes you get a big wind or something, and you'll get corn leaves and debris off the field that'll come in too, so I don't know what the rules are on
It
them, but...
wouldn't be part of this conversation, it would be part of the planned unit development when the developer comes in, which is also a public hearing and you would be notified. But we had the same thing over in Linden Manor over here, those houses and the corn, and those people would complain that the corn stalks in the fall would blow into their yards, and they put up their own fences. But this would be a community, like the manufactured home park, so we can make the developer put the fence up.
And this line right here is the survey marker, or the survey, or is that, I mean, how accurate is that?
It's not meant to be like as accurate as a survey would be, it's just like an approximation.
Because I can see right here, this is where the tile line goes.
Okay.
And I know that was right along, that's the part of the fence line that used to be there, so that's the property line there. And then I see your little line is just a little bit south of that, so that's why I'm questioning that, is if that's totally accurate or it could be off. So.
Yeah, these GIS maps, they're not meant to, like, be totally 100% accurate as, like, a survey would be. That's all I can say.
I guess that's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you folks have a copy of that? And then you had a picture of the layout of the development too. Do you have copies of that could,
Is it in the packet on the podium there?
Not the
The
development.
concept isn't in the packet,
Oh, I mean, the picture that you're showing right there is in the,
but
in the,
this website is a public website.
Yeah.
Um,
On the planning and
Oh, there
zoning
is,
packet
yeah,
is on the city's website.
there is a deal here.
yeah,
You
that,
can take that.
You can
That's a
have
public
that.
copy. You can take that.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, there's,
If you get on the county website, you can go to their GIS maps and pull this exact thing up.
oh.
yeah, you can, yeah.
So, now this meeting will be, on, YouTube at some point too? That,
Yes.
okay, because I have relatives that would like to, they couldn't attend, but they would like to see it, so. And how long does that take before, after the meeting ends, before they can see that?
I do it right after the meeting.
Oh, okay.
It'll be put up probably 5-10 minutes after the meeting's over.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Do you have anything you wanted to share, ma'am? If not, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Your thoughts, gentlemen? I guess personally, I don't see any roadblocks at this stage in the conversation, but somebody wants to argue with me.
no. I think really the real discussion's gonna be at the next stage, I think, when the PUD comes in.
I don't disagree. With that said, I would look for a motion, please.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That would be our recommendation to the city council.
And that'll be Wednesday night here at 6.
What would be?
The city council meeting, we're only a recommending body,
Right.
and so this goes to council, and it'll go this Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
But then there's gonna be a lot of other stuff on that agenda also.
Yep.
Oh, there's a lot of
Yeah.
them.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Is that all we had for the formal side of the meeting?
Yep, that was everything.
I guess, I've heard some grumblings that we might have somebody interested in trying to put housing in the old school. Have they presented anything to us at this stage in the game?
I mean, there's been discussions, but I know I did see on the news that they
Yeah, I think that's
have
where I
a
got it as well.
purchase agreement and everything, so,
That would be the second or third purchase agreement, I think that they...
yeah.
I'm not trying to read into that. I guess my questions were, the school used to be zoned RC. Is that still the case?
Yeah, it's still RC.
Okay.
So technically, they could make it into multifamily. I believe they would have to come back and get a conditional use permit, but...
Sorry,
What?
can you elaborate? Which one's RC?
Residential, commercial.
So it's a mixed use?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I was
Yeah.
trying to remember how it was zoned.
Uh-huh.
Does anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss? Okay. Then I'll go ahead and, dismiss, or we'll call it a meeting. We've got some training. If you want to stick around for it and go through some zoning training, by all means, you're more than welcome. It's absolutely exhilarating. There's nothing as good on TV tonight as training, but if you have other pursuits, by all means.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.